great, dominating every single city in this golden homestay. Never leaving any piece of paper to my fate. Building up a mountain, sitting on a silver blade. Stepping in the booth to find that heavy zone. Sitting on a kingdom that I call my throne. Never picking up a caller on the busy phone. Making all this magic while I work here alone. Keeping neon flashing and the colors very bright. Climbing up until I reach a brand new height. Taking off across the ocean on a private flight. Holding on to every single vision, feeling super tight. Moving at a very high and very heavy pace. Launching like a rocket into outer limit space. Winning every lap inside a high and crazy race. Showing off the winner when they see my face. Diamond chains are dripping like a bucket full of ice. Working for the glory, never checking on the price. Living out a life that sounds incredibly nice. Rolling with heavy hitters, throwing some loaded gold dice. Closing out a massive and a very heavy deal. So let's get it harder like a piece of steel. Spinning every circle like a very heavy gold wheel. Loving every single second of the way I feel. Putting every hater into such a burning flame. Everybody in the city shouting out my brand name. Never feeling any type of sorrow or the shame. Climbing up the ladder to the peak of fame. Keep the vision steady and the energy so true. Looking at the ocean painted in the deep blue. Staring at the city from a very high view. Breaking every barrier that I am truly coming through. Watch the way the money in the spirit glow. Putting on a massive and a very heavy show. Ready for the signal so I really can go. Never letting any of my energy get too low. Living from the city and I do it quick. Making sure the rhythm and the melody will stick. Styling on the rivals and it looks so slick. Walking through the smoke where the air is thick. Watching as the numbers and the values truly rise. Never really caring about the tiny littles, small size. Keeping all the focus in my very sharp eyes. Flying like a falcon through the very high sky. Crashing every single heavy in a massive golden check. Stacking up the cards in a very high deck. Hanging heavy metal right around my skinny gold neck. Leaving all the competition in a very bad wreck. Losing every power of the spirit and the mind. Something that the others can never even find. Rare and very special and a very different kind. Leaving all the heavy baggage far away and behind. Walking on a very bright and very sunny way. Working for the mission every single night and day. Making sure the music is the only gameplay. Staying on a mountain and I am going stay. Aiming for the clouds in a very high sky. Watching all the birds as they really start flying. Never go and listen to a regular and boring guy. Give it everything when I really start to try. That story into heavy and a solid gold. Never getting tired and I never getting too old. Heart is getting icy and it's getting very cold. Moving with a spirit that is very, very bold. Burning with a passion and a very heavy fire. Taking every level and not taking much higher. Feeding every hunger in a very deep, true desire. Walking on the edge of a very thin wire. Moving with the power like a very loud blast. Making sure the legacy is really gonna last. Speeding through the limit and I do it fast. Leaving all the shadows in the very distant past. Working while the other people really wanna sleep. All the little secrets that I really gotta keep. Climbing up the mountain which is very, very steep. Throwing all the money in a very big heap. Looping another tower in a very steady clock. Opening the doors with a very heavy silver lock. Running every circle and I run around block. Giving all the haters such a very heavy shock. Waking up inside of a very pretty lucid dream. Swimming through the water in a very heavy stream. Winning with the brothers on a very solid team. Looking at the laser and a very bright beam. Driving down the highway on a very long road. Carrying a heavy and a very massive goal load. Programming a future with a very secret high goal. Connecting every single to a very busy central node. Everything I touch is gonna really start to shine. Feeling very healthy and I'm feeling very, very fine. Walking on the edge of a very thin line. Claiming every victory and I call it all mine. Never gonna stop and I'm never gonna break. Looking at the darkest and the moves I make. Feeling all the ground is really starting to shake. See me climbing higher while I ignite the stage. Writing every chapter on a fresh and golden page. Breaking every bar and escaping from this metal cage. Energy is rising like a storm of holy rage. Keep the engine running, keep the liquid status flow. Watch the heavy diamonds in the dark begin glow. Never hit embrace because I only know the goal. Planting every seed to see the heavy money grow. Driving through the city like a heavy bullet train. Never let the pressure turn into a mental pain. Standing in the middle of the heavy purple rain. Trading all the struggle for a massive private gain. Playing like a pro because I always want ball. Answer every time that the big money will call. Running through the limits of a thick stony wall. Standing at the top and I never rolling 7 digits with a lucky paradise. Everything about the lifestyle is looking rather nice. Walking like a boss on the concrete city street, turning up the volume in the heavy summer heat, moving to the rhythm of a nasty urban beat. Never feel the ground underneath my silver-coated feet, locked inside the rhythm of a heavy focus zone, sitting very steady on a heavy golden throne. Never checking messages upon a broken mobile phone, making all the magic while I work here alone. Buckle up the belt for a very wild ride, keep the winter spirit on the very inner side. Watch the heavy ocean with a very lucky glide, having nothing secret that I ever need to hide. Chasing after fortune and a little bit of fame. Everybody everywhere's gonna know my lucky name. Leveling the stats in a very risky digital game, burning through the vision like a heavy orange flame. Driving in the lane and I move very fast, blowing up the speakers with a very loud blast, making sure the legacy is built here to last, leaving all the shadows in the very distant past. Drop the heavy bass on the velvet dance floor, giving every fan what they always want more, kicking down the hinges of a heavy iron door. Listen to the engine with a very loud roar, focus all the power in the center of mine, searching for the treasure that I finally will find, being one of those who is truly one kind. Light is so bright it will make you blind, moving through the city in a very high state, never leave the outcome to a very cruel fate, showing up early while the others arrive late, lifting up the burden of a very heavy weight, diving in the water where the ocean is deep, working for the future while the lazy ones sleep. Promises are something that I always will keep, quality is high and it never looks cheap, shining like a diamond in the cold velvet dark, rubbing two stones just to find a little spark, driving fancy cars through the middle of City Park, making sure the arrow is the very center mark. Crank the heavy speakers to a very loud sound, feeling very solid with my feet on the ground, going for the trophy in the very final round, heading for the top where the glory is bound, living every moment like a very famous young king, buying every shiny and the very expensive new thing. Hear the heavy metal as the golden bells ring, imagine all the fire that the future will bring. Prove to everybody that I am the very best, represent the flavor of the wild, wild urban west, keep the heavy silver on the center of chest, working till I finish and I finally can't rest. Here in the spotlight is where I will stay, making all the moves in the very big play, moving all the obstacles out of my way, living for the rhythm of a very bright day. Keep the inner circle very solid and strictly real, signing every paper on a very massive business deal, loving every second of the way that I feel, keeping both hands on the heavy leather steering wheel, let the heavy energy and the spirit run loose, sipping on the flavor of the very sweet juice, flying in the sky like a very wild goose, picking out the path that I finally will choose, showing off the colors to the people in town, wearing on my head a very heavy gold crown, never let the system ever hold me back down, wipe away the sorrow in the very heavy frown. Switch the automatic into a very high-speed drive, feeling very lucky just to be here still alive, working every second just to finally begin to thrive, take a deep breath and a very deep dive, listen to the people as they start to shout, letting all the energy and the spirit pour out, removing every shadow of a very heavy dark doubt. This is what the story is really all about.